Thanks for dropping by. Today we're going to talk about some items that we have in our kitchen that we can use for sewing or for quilting. Now, I'm not saying don't buy sewing notions because we're like a kid with a new toy when we buy a new sewing notion. And the ones that they have coming out are wonderful. However, if you're just getting started or if you have to replace something, these items are a good in between, or you might want to continue using them and they'll be a lot cheaper. And if you're not using them, it's not a big loss. Just a replacement until, or you can continue to use. Okay, so in your kitchen, these are some things. I'm also going to do a video of things you can find in maybe the hardware section of your dollar store or the beauty section. This one is for kitchen only. The stationary one, that would take a while. Plastic bags. These are great and of various sizes because the smaller ones you can put in a few clips or bobbins if you're leaving for the afternoon. The larger size, the middle size are good for holding patterns or templates, and the larger will hold blocks or pieces of blocks. Now, another way of holding your blocks is your quilt block design board, which we have a video on, and that's very good. But you might want to slide, if your design board's not too big, slide a plastic bag over the whole thing, and then you have your blocks adhered to the board somewhat, and the plastic over it so they really don't get lost. Another item we have in our kitchen is our funnels, various sizes. And these are good if you're filling pin cushions or toys or things like that, that maybe you're putting rice or beans or something small in that if you're just pouring will really make a mess on the floor, and therefore you can use a much smaller opening in your article you're making, and when you go to close it, it's not as difficult to close because you have a smaller opening. So funnels can be useful. These net scrubbies, these are good for just cleaning off your cutting boards. You know how the lint and little bits of thread get caught in places that have already been cut. The cuts are there, and they're self-healing, but sometimes your boards are old enough that you have cuts in them. This is good for cleaning off lint and threads from your cutting boards. Chopsticks for turning corners. This is just a decorative one, but they're good. They don't have a really sharp edge to them. Don't grab your scissors when you turn your item right side out and try and push that in. You might go right through your fabric. Something with a little blunter edge is really good. A timer. What do you need a timer for? Well, to remind yourself to get up and move. I'm very bad at that, for staying long enough that I get stiff. It's to give yourself 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you feel you can handle. The other thing is, and this is even more important, if you decide, well, I have 30 minutes before that appointment, or I have 25 minutes before I meet my friend for coffee, set the timer. If not, your doctor and your friend might be sitting there waiting and you're still sewing, because time flies once you get behind that machine. Another thing is little plastic containers for cough drops or candy or whatever. And they're great for sliding in broken pins or needles or bent pins. Therefore, nobody's going to get hurt with them, that you're not picking them up in the pin cushion and think it's one that's still working. So they're safer in there, and it takes no space to carry that around. An even better size is this larger one, because you can get your rotary blades in it. It'll be big enough for your blade because you know how sharp they are. So plastic candy containers, cough drops, whatever comes in this type. Now the other, almost the same, and I know this probably should be in your bedroom or bathroom. Mine's in my kitchen because if I don't see it, I don't take it. I forget. So this is the same idea. Your prescription bottles, just make sure you take your identification off. And you can put pins in here, and these, if you have a larger size, it's big enough for most blades. So your broken pins, bent pins, broken needles and blades can all go in here. Another use for this would be if you're going off for the day and taking handwork with you, don't want to take all your sewing equipment, put in thread and needle that you'll be using, and maybe even a pair of folded up clippers or snippers or something, and a very, very temporary rustic sewing kit can be made in that. I wouldn't want to use it as my full-time one. That would never hold enough. Other things are from the dollar store, just little trays that you have for storage for your shelves, all different sizes. Cutlery trays, they're good because they're divided and you can put different things in the cutlery trays. How about shelf liner? Excuse me. Now there's two kinds of a shelf liner. One is the sturdier solid kind. And this would be good for, if you make slippers, this is good for the bottom of slippers. It's sturdy and it wouldn't wear out like a fabric would on the bottom. So that's a shelf liner for the bottom of slippers, or there are many other uses, I'm sure, if you make things like that. The other one, and we've done a video on this, and I thought we made together some bottle openers, and they're about 6 square, and I must have given them all away. I can't find one, but I made this smaller one for myself, and it's to put in my purse. Sometimes you buy water or juice when you're traveling. It's really hard to open, so this doesn't take any room in your purse, and the shelf liner on this is more of a woven, and it has little holes in it, and it would be better than this for gripping because it has like a grip to it because it's not flat and even. So shelf liners have many uses when you're sewing or quilting. How about coffee filters? I know most people use pods now, but you probably still have some, or if not, you certainly can get them available. A coffee filter is great if you're doing embroidery work, if you're doing applique, and it's really to put under your fabric as a stabilizer. It's just something that holds your fabric while you're working on it, and then you can just remove it. It pulls right off like a removable stabilizer would when you're finished your project. So coffee filters can be very handy. Now, how about parchment paper? And parchment paper is just the paper we put when I'm not advertising the make, I'm just, it's the paper that we put under our cookies or whatever that we don't want our cooking trays to get dirty while we're baking them, our baking trays. And the parchment paper is nice and thin, but it doesn't rip overly easy. It's nice and thin, so if you want to trace a pattern or template or something through it, it's certainly good for that. And the paper, I have some that I've done tracing and then kept the template years ago, and they're still good. You can still use them. Now you have to lay them flat or be careful how you store them, but they're wonderful for that. So parchment paper, because you can see through it, it's great for copying patterns and designs. We also have freezer paper. Now, until I picked mine out off the cupboard this morning to use it, I didn't realize that freezer paper even has on the back how to use it as when you're doing your applique. It even tells about easy quilt appliques, and it describes how to use it. So enough people have used it that they have put it on their product. And the freezer paper, you'll find, is heavier, much heavier. One side is like paper, so you can draw on that side or trace. The second is shiny and kind of slippery. And for this one, you can draw an item, put it on the wrong side of your fabric, give it a press so it adheres to it a tiny bit because of this waxy side, and cut out your pattern, and therefore you have your applique piece ready to go. So, and again, these templates, you can keep them for a long time. The freezer paper is fairly sturdy. Remember, freezer paper can't see through for your designs, whereas the parchment paper is good for tracing. Now, where am I getting all these cute little designs? Well, you just go up into your cookie cutter drawer. And I'm sure you have lots of cookie cutters, and if not, you can get it clip art on your computer. Your computer has lots of designs and little children's designs or whatever you're looking for. But cookie cutters are great. You have it right in your hand. You can just trace around it. You have the size that you want, if that's what the size you're looking for. This one's a little snowman, and another thing for a snowman would be just circular cutters of 3 different sizes. So look in your kitchen for your supplies. Now, the last one for today is a chopping mat. These come in packs of 2, and it's for chopping your vegetables, but I probably sew more than I chop vegetables, so this is very handy for them. And one side is slippery, and one side is a little bit of it's not really a grip, but it's not as slippery. They can be rolled, they're sturdy, they're great for cutting up templates. Now you can buy a template plastic, that's for sure. This is very similar if you're not in a business or if you're not doing it for an industrial reason. This is a great replacement for it. And they're sturdy so that they last for a long time. And I find these are very good. These chopping mats, you get 2 in a pack for about $1.50 or whatever. Depends on the area you're in. So those are a few of the things that I have found in my kitchen and have found to be very useful. I'm sure you have lots more, or you can think of more. As I say, we're going to do a video on other departments in the dollar store. This is the kitchen department. Thanks for now. Have fun and look around your kitchen. Bye now.